life is an arcade. I wanna play every single game. These bright lights are making my heart race. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Authentic Vibes Only podcast. I believe it's episode 11, season 2. Been a little over a month since we've done an episode. Feels good to be back. Never an excuse to why I am or not here. Sometimes life gets busy. Sorry, I need a little bit of chapstick. Sometimes it's just, I don't know what to talk about besides life being busy. I said that last time we'll talk about stoicism. We're going to push that off to a separate episode kind of leading after this because I think stoicism, sit down. Stoicism builds off of like the masculine side more of what we're talking about today. Today we're going to talk about masculine and feminine energy and how it has nothing to do with gender and biological gender role stereotypes, but it's just more the traits, characteristics of the person and the energy you're sitting in as a human being at the time and the times you're in life. As you know, our hoodie pre-order is up and running. It'll be up and running for 2 weeks. Here's the white one. It's a white with sage green. Here's the front. Just in the back. These hoodies are honestly, there's a seamless hood, which is cool. It's a little bit different. No seams. It makes it a little bit more comfy. I really love these fucking hoodies. I know it's a little late for hoodies, but it's about to be bonfire season. Honestly, I don't think it is late. It's about to be bonfire season. It's still a little cold outside. Perfect for bonfire weather. The inside right here, you can't really see it that well, but these are fucking insanely soft, insanely comfortable. The quality is unmatched. It's 50% polyester, 50% cotton. And they're oversized. They'll be oversized depending on what size you get. They're an oversized fit. And they're just, they're super comfy. They're 500 GSM. They're stupid quality. The logo's DTG print. And sign up right now. Get them. Get your pre-orders. If you don't get one through the pre-order, the chances are I'm not ordering extra bulk. So if you don't get one through the pre-order, you'll never get one. They'll never come back unless the community wants them that bad. They're $54.99 on the site. Use code hoodie for 10% off. And now I have a pop-up. When you get onto the site, immediately you're going to get a pop-up that says sign up for our newsletter for an extra $5 off. You can use both coupons at the same time, and there's also free shipping. So I'm kind of doing a really good deal right now for the hoodies. I think the price is really good considering what they're being made for. Let's give a shout out to my sponsors real quick. One Take Photography and Videography. My boy Rashawn, one of my models. And then we have JW's Third Base in Rock Falls. If you're ever hungry, get your fucking goods there. We got the best wings around. Candlelight Inn, Rock Falls, Clinton. And, same thing. If you want food, support small businesses. And then we have, as always, the podcast is brought to you by the Authentic Vibes Only brand. But let's get into it with masculine and feminine energy. What that means, what that entails. If I look away, I'm looking at my left monitor. I have a lot of notes on there about the differences, and I'll get into the good and the bad, when they're unbalanced, how that can cause problems in how you react to situations and how you're acting as a person. And then I'll talk about finding a balance between the two of them and stuff like that. So when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, I think that there's a big misconception that it's all based on if you're male or female, and that literally has nothing to do with it at all. It just depends on who you are as a person and what energy you carry, what kind of characteristics you have, and how you're feeling at the time. So the definition of both of them is just symbols for forces and traits within you that are not based on gender or stereotypes. So like I said, it's not based on if you're male or female or what you identify as. It's just based on what your traits are as a person and the energy you have in that moment in time. And it's not something that you're always going to be. You can be stuck in it in your masculine, you can be stuck in your feminine, and you cannot be releasing those energies correctly, and there can be imbalances in those. So we'll talk about how to find those balances, and I think good things that come from both in ways that I balance those energies. So we'll start with masculine. So the definition of masculine energy is just an energy. It's based on logic, and it governs your rational side. So it's more focused and analytical for your thoughts, and it's about doing. So it's about confidence, inner strength, being assertive, setting boundaries, being courageous, being disciplined, stability, your direction in life, setting goals, proceeding and doing those goals and meeting those goals, clarity. And then for feminine, the definition is fluid energy that controls your creative, intuitive, and empathetic nature. It's about being, which I think I tend to lean more towards a feminine energy, just for the fact that I'm more about being now. I don't know. I would tend to say that I lean in a feminine energy more oftentimes than not than masculine, but I think I have come to find a really good balance in those, because obviously when it comes to like the masculine in me, I'm very much about doing and getting things done and setting goals, meeting those goals, being confident in myself and what I do, and having boundaries in relationships with people, being assertive, and especially when it comes to the business side, being assertive, and working at the restaurant also, being assertive there, and figuring out and getting things done. But also with the feminine in me, I'm a lot about just being. I'm very empathetic when it comes to my relationships. I'm very intuitive. I feel like I know and I feel things before they happen. I can read people. I've talked about this before. I feel like I feel the good in people. I can read people's energy. I can read people's character. And then also, I'm an artist. So if you're an artist, you tend to be more pushed towards the feminine side because you're more of the being, and the feminine side is where the creativity comes from. So I feel like when I'm having imbalances in these energies and I'm leaning more in the masculine, and I don't feel creative, I'm definitely imbalanced at the time because my creative energy is not there, and I need to figure out where it is. So these are considered the yin and the yang, and the yin is fucking feminine and the yang is masculine. They're supposed to balance each other. You're supposed to find a good balance between the two, and you have the two yin and yang energies where in life they can if balanced right, I feel like it could take you to the top, it could take you to the moon. You just got to know the differences. So for the feminine, it really controls your emotions, how you're feeling. It's unpredictable. It's intuitive, caring, and heart-oriented. So you're more, you're just empathetic with things like relationships, life, projects. It's these things, like the energy can be brought out, and this is why I talk a lot about meditation, creative energy, sharing your feelings, spending time in nature, and dancing, and just being like that. I think that is a really good definition for this. It's just like just living, being a human being, enjoying small things, little things, being less worried about just logical things, and just being a person, and living, doing things that humans should do, and relaxing and just sitting in a comfortable position and showing emotions, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Some more traits that come with this is just nurturing. The feminine is your nurturing side, so like I said, that's empathetic, nurturing people. And we'll go back to the masculine. This is the stable, predictable and logical, focused side of you. The side where you must take risks, but you set goals, stand up for yourself, and set those boundaries. The imbalances here I can talk about. It says if you have too much, and here's the bad things that come from like too much and wounded masculines or wounded feminines. So like if there's an imbalance in the masculine, you can be really aggressive, and I think that at times, I've noticed that myself. I was a very wounded masculine person in the past, where I'd be getting situations and I'd project and I'd be really aggressive towards people. Not saying like put hands on people, but I just get really upset, really aggressive, and try to be dominant. And so an imbalance causes aggression, confrontation, and competitive behavior. And yeah, there's just been a lot of times in my life where in the past where I felt like I was just way too imbalanced in my masculine. And honestly, I feel like an imbalance in masculine is like an insecurity. Like you don't feel masculine enough, so you have to try to prove it. You know what I mean? You have to try to prove your dominance, your assertiveness, and be real aggressive towards people to be like, yeah, I'm a fucking man. I can do this and all that. And you don't listen, or you're not open to other people's opinions. You want to confront every person and shit like that. You're always competitive. You're always like, I'm better, this and that. And then when it comes to the imbalance of feminine, it's a thing where you like also oversensitive, or you're a victim and you can feel powerless. So like the wounded feminine, and I think when it comes to like relationships, this is where it's a problem. You're a victim, you feel weak, you want to manipulate people, you're oversensitive, over emotional, and codependent on people. And honestly, I think when it comes to like not friendships but relationships with women, I've actually, like I said, I lean in my feminine more in all aspects. But I think I've had a wounded feminine a lot, where I've been really codependent on another person in relationship, and I haven't had that masculine in me enough to show like I'm confident, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table. There's no need for me to depend on somebody else, because I'm good with or without you. And then more of the wounded masculine in relationships, you have the abuse of power, abusive aggressiveness, controlling, and unsupportive, unstable. You're avoidant. And honestly, I think when it comes to relationships, I know like where I stand with that, because I usually tend to attract women that are in their wounded masculine, for whatever reason. Everyone goes through traumas, and I attract a lot of avoidant personalities, because when it comes to relationships, I have an anxious attachment, and I avoid, or usually an avoidant attachment attracts an anxious attachment attracts avoidant attachments, which not a good combination until y'all are both ready to heal and bring in, balance those out. So right here, we got with relationships, they're different polarities. They each represent specific traits and characteristics. One values over another. See, and right here it says, over the years, psychologists have argued that the best romantic matches consist of an individual with more masculine energy and one with more feminine energy. There must be a yin to someone's yang, and vice versa. All in all, in relationships, masculine energy is all about providing and doing, where areas feminine energy focuses on receiving and being. If two masculine individuals get together, there could be an imbalance in spiritual energy, resulting in fights and aggressive behavior. If two feminine individuals date, it's likely that the relationship will be stagnant because of a lack of assertiveness. And I think that, like I said, my relationships with friendships, but mainly relationships, have come to the fact of an imbalance in myself, but also attracting people that have an imbalance in theirs. And there's a lot of stigma nowadays, and I know this is a getting off relationships, that like men are too feminine now, or women are too masculine now, and this or that. And I like I said, I think you need to be both. Not I think. It's like a spiritual fact when it comes to energy, is that you need a balance of both. Yes, you will lean more in a masculine or feminine energy, right? But the reason being behind there being an imbalance is people's traumas, right? And people don't heal those traumas. So a lot of the time, you get masculine women. They've just never had a male in their life that has had a balance of masculine energy. There's been an imbalance, and their role models or the males in their life have not shown them what a true masculine, healed masculine energy is like. And then they have to become more masculine themselves due to the fact that they've never seen the right masculine energy. So then they, as women, and I also think that like nowadays women want to do more. They want to be this. They want to do that. They want to be the one saying, I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. I can do it all on my own. So that is where we've come to a thing in society where there's just way more masculinity in women, is due to like traumas in their life. And then also with feminine men is that we've come to a point where, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing with women, I appreciate a strong woman. I appreciate a woman that's goal oriented, that's focused, that wants to get her shit done. But then it comes to men now, where men are more in their feminine, is because we as men have not been able to, for years, it's never been okay for us to show our feelings or say how we feel or do any of that. So we're in a wounded feminine. Most of us are in a wounded feminine, and that causes us to be in a wounded masculine because we don't have our feminine energy figured out. And then that causes a problem in relationships because, what was I going to say? That causes a problem in relationships with men and women because you need that yin to yang. And the thing is women, no matter what, even though I said this has nothing to do with gender, women, if it comes to, let's just put it this way. Let's not put it that way, because there's a lot of, of the LGBTQ community and stuff. You have men dating men, women dating women, and so on. So there's always going to be one in the relationship that, whatever their energy is, masculine or feminine, if you're in the right and in a balanced masculine, whoever the feminine in the relationship is, whether it's wounded or not, if there's a masculine in the relationship, or say you're both masculine, God damn it, I keep fucking this up. I'm sorry, guys. How do I break this down? When you're with the right person in a relationship, you're gonna bring out the feminine nature in whatever partner you choose. Let's just say I'm gonna say it's with women. So as a man, even though I lean towards more feminine energy, when you're with the right partner and you're healing your issues and your traumas, the feminine nature in that partner is going to come out. They're going to feel safe. They're not going to feel the need to be masculine. And I think that has to do more with relationship. They may still want to do the masculine things in their life and set goals and with their job and stuff, but they're going to feel comfort, safe, and just be. You're going to bring out the feminine nature in your partner if you're in a balance and you guys are matches. So I think that's just an issue nowadays, is that the masculine and feminine, there's just so many imbalances in people. Also, they don't understand it, because I just think that it's just so stereotyped that men can't have feelings, women can't be doing this, women aren't supposed to do this, men aren't supposed to do this. And realistically, it's just about finding a balance, man, and actually understanding that these have nothing to do with gender roles, and finding the yin and yang to yourself first, and then bringing that into a relationship, and you guys finding the yin and yang to each other. Because there may be things that you're more masculine in and they're more feminine in, but then there's things that you're more feminine and they're more masculine, and that's not a problem. But then, like I said, you have all the wounded things where, like, if you're too feminine, you're codependent, you're oversensitive, over emotional. And if you're too masculine, you're aggressive, you want to prove your dominance, you're competitive, you're controlling, you're avoidant as shit. So there's just a fine line of finding that balance. And I think also that men, I think especially men, even though it's okay, like, it's become more common for men to show their empathetic side and show their feelings, that we still get made fun of a lot for that. But I think as a male that does tend to lean in as feminine, and I care a lot, very empathetic, like I said, I like to be nurturing, especially in relationships. I'll nurture you, I'll care for you. Men find it weak to show feelings and stuff like that, but I think that as a man, it's the strongest thing that you can do is to say how you feel, show how you feel, but also be like, this is how I feel, this is where I'm at, but I know that I can get out of this. I know I can do this, and I know how to do this. So I think that as men, we need to just realize that you can show your feelings, and it's okay to do that, and it's not no pussy shit to act that sort of way, as long as you know that once you do that, you can get out of it. And there's ways to do that, and sitting there and not expressing that is going to make it way harder for you than it would if you expressed it. So if you express it and then take the steps and realize and set goals and understand how to get out of it, then I think you're the strongest type of male there is. And some of the things that I'll get into steps and tricks, because I talk a lot about this, and so, like, there's ways to balance that energy. And the right here says step 1, start meditating. I've talked about meditating how many times on here, man? How many times have I talked about meditating? Meditation is very important, because you're just like getting out of your mind and just just being, you're relaxing. You can visualize, you can do a lot of things. You can be in your mind, but it's not like really in your head about everything and constantly just overthinking. So this says, pair your meditation with a motivational mantra when you awaken to awaken your masculine energy. Try saying something like, my goals are achievable and within reach, or I'm a strong and capable leader. Focus inward to balance your feminine energy. Be aware that thoughts come and go to awaken your creative energy and leave your meditation feeling inspired. So when I meditate, I like to do a little of both. I like to free my mind and let things come to me and try to see, like listen to the universe, listen to the world, listen to my intuition and see what comes about. And then also when I'm doing another like meditation, I like to do affirmations, and that would be the masculine part. The first part would be the feminine. So I like to do affirmations and say like, I am this, I am this, I am this, I'm confident. I'm rich, stuff like that. And another one right here says journal. See, dude, this article has this is like one of the second times I'm reading it, but it's just like so many things I've talked about before, and the journey of becoming your authentic self, and I never really thought about it, becoming your authentic self and being being you and understanding yourself. I didn't really understand how much it had to do with like feminine and masculine energy and balancing those things out. But this one says journal. Next, step 2, putting your thoughts on paper is an excellent way to balance feminine and masculine energies. Try writing a play-by-play of your day. What was exciting, interesting, or different about today? Think about what you want to achieve and what your goals, today's goals were. Did you accomplish them? And I think that would be the masculine part and how to balance that. The feminine side of journaling would be to write down all your feelings and how you felt for that day, why you feel the way you feel, and letting it out that way. Set up achievable goals is the next one, and this is definitely more on the masculine side. It is the masculine side is achieving, setting goals, and doing. And setting goals, and we talked about setting goals before. I would set a big goal and then break that big goal into small steps and how to reach that big goal. So let's say one of my goals right here, 2024 goals. Change people's lives and mindsets and help them evolve. Like I've talked about, that's my purpose. So that would be my main goal, right? A big goal. Now, what are smaller steps I can take to achieving that? One, smaller goal. Record podcasts, talk about life, talk about mindset, talk about motivation, talk about things I'm doing that help me become a better person. 2, put posts out into the world, put motivational quotes out, put motivational videos out, put videos out of the day in the life of me. 3, when I speak with people, build them up. Don't break them down. Be realistic, be logical, give them both sides. Give them that feminine side of building them up, but give them the masculine side of being assertive and giving them confidence. 4, spend time in nature. This leans toward, obviously, the feminine side, just being a human being. We're not meant to be cooped up all day and in our job, at a desk, in our house, anything. We're meant to experience life and just be, enjoying what the universe has gave us, and nature is a big thing in that. Nature's beautiful, man, and just getting outside, enjoying nature, listening. I like to meditate outside, go for a walk in nature and just sit down somewhere and just take some deep breaths, listen to the world, see what it brings you. Step 5, connect with loved ones. Balancing your spiritual energy can be as simple as calling up a friend or a family member, even if you're introverted. A little socialization can invigorate your feminine and masculine energies. If you're feeling trapped or stuck lately, plan a fun adventure with your loved ones to energize your spirit. And I don't think we talk about that enough. I think that we need to enjoy our relationships more, especially as we get older. We move away, whatever the case may be. We may not see our friends and families much. So take every chance you can to enjoy that time, spend time with them, especially if you're feeling off. If you're feeling down, whatever, call someone up, have a talk, get together with them, enjoy the time, do something fun. Practice step 6, practice self-care and self-love. The most important thing to do when balancing your spiritual energy is to take care of yourself. Schedule time for hobbies, take a bubble bath, or get enough sleep. The better you are physically, mentally, the better you'll feel spiritually. And like I said, I have not read this article but twice. This is my second time today. First time was about a month ago. And it's just crazy to me how much this article lines up with what I've already preached. And like I said, I didn't really realize that when I'm talking about being your authentic self and being a better you, that it's really about balancing the feminine and masculine energy in yourself and becoming the true version of who you are, and understanding yourself, understanding life, understanding people around you, understanding your feelings and shit like that. So it's pretty amazing, actually. Yeah, this is a different article, but it says that a complete human being is in equilibrium between the masculine and feminine. That's Sadhguru. Quote. And it also says that it is time that society realizes, and this is what I mean, there's such a fucking stigma that makes men not want to act the way they act, and it makes women not want to do the certain things. And like I said, it's not a bad thing either way. You can be a more masculine female. You can be a more feminine male. You can lean in either way, but you got to balance those out. And it says that it is a time that society realizes that masculinity and femininity are not traits we associate with depending on gender, but instead depending on the character. To be balanced and better people, I believe we need to have both masculine traits and feminine traits. And that's what I'm talking about here, man. I think as a person that leans in the feminine, that doesn't make me not a male, not at all. I think it makes me a stronger male. And I know like females listen to this too, but like I'm a male, so I always tend to push more towards advice for men. But I've come to realize that like, one, I'm creative. I love art. I'm into creativity, and there's things that I do, like getting out in nature. Honestly, dancing. I'm a goofball. Like I'll just sit around my house and dance around. You know, I just have crackhead energy. You know, and I like to be weird and goofy, and that's the feminine in me. I like to just be me and do me, and I'm very intuitive. I'm empathetic. I want to care for people. I want to nurture people, and I want to take care of them. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I have the side of me that's the masculine that is very goal-oriented, very strong, very assertive, confident in who I am, confident in what I do. And it's really just, like I said, about who you are as a person and becoming the best version of yourself. And by being your authentic self and becoming that best version of yourself, you have to understand the differences in masculine and feminine energy, and you have to understand what traits you already have that you may have not discovered, and balancing those traits out. So, like I said, when I'm being empathetic and caring, you also have to understand the moment in time. But there's the side of you that is listening and caring and nurturing, but then there's the side of you that wants to give advice and be the logical side, and that's the masculine. So it's just a good balance of finding both and in between. And I don't know, man. I don't think that it's a problem for either one. I think that we just as humans need to find our balance. We need to be our authentic selves and be the one, or be you for you. And I didn't realize how much that meant, balancing your masculine and feminine. You know, I think that's the cool thing about this podcast is learning more about myself, learning more about life, learning more about everything, psychology, the brain, the mind, how it works, and finding things that help me that I can share to help you. All things in life are based off energy, man. I know that everybody believes in something different, and some people believe in nothing at all. But I'll always believe in the spiritual aspect of things, because to me, like, there's just no way that certain things happen unless it's supposed to happen, or there's just weird things that's like that can't be a coincidence. So I listen to the world. I listen to my intuition, how I feel on things, and I take signs from the universe, angel numbers, things like that. When I ask for a specific sign and I receive it, I act on it. I believe in those things and everything. I mean, when you think about life, and I know people believe in God. Like I said, I feel like there's like some sort of higher energy. I usually will still call it God, but I don't, that's just like a name. But like, I just say higher energy because I'm on the spiritual side. But like, scientifically, if you add all those things up, God, science, energy, all things are built off energy. That's the science in it, right? So how can you not believe in energies, spirituality? And when you look at like all things, religion, spirituality, science, they pretty much all point in the same direction with like a different higher up thing, like evolution. It's built off atoms. Atoms are energy. God. What is God? A higher power. All being God that created life. But what would he be created from? Atoms and energy. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing to speak on. It's like everything in life has an answer, but what we were created from, and what happens when you die. So I tend to lead towards the spiritual side of that. And, it's just like, does it make sense? Nothing makes sense. But then if you look at like religion and stuff, and just like the Constitution, everything that's in our lives is man-made. It was written by somebody and this and that, and it just gives people something to believe in and gives us something that we want an answer for, so we look up to it. So that's why I kind of tend to lean towards the spiritual side, because it's like this other stuff like makes sense, but when you look back on it, majority of it is just made up by humans. So where does it actually start? Where does the originality actually come from? Like the origin of us. And my only answer is energy. That sounds kind of, on the science side, but it's not. It is and isn't. Like I said, I think all these things kind of go hand in hand. But the more I've become myself, my authentic self, I've just tend to realize the things in life that happen to me, happen for me, wouldn't make sense if I didn't understand spirituality. I don't know. So I know that was more of a infographic or like a informational based episode. I don't have as much feelings on these. I have a lot of feelings on these things, but it's already things I've spoke on. So like I just took kind of a very educational based episode today and read from some articles. I don't really like to do that. I like to be on here full force with my feelings, but I know I needed to get an episode out, and I know this episode is still very good for some people because they don't understand masculine and feminine energy, and it's important when you want to become your authentic self, is understanding those and understanding characteristics of people, traits of people, characteristics of masculine and feminine, and understanding that it's okay to be both and you need to find a balance of both, and never to let the stereotypes or stigmas get to your head, and to just be you and heal the wounded masculine or wounded feminine sides of you. And besides the tips they gave, meditating, journaling, seeing loved ones, what was the other one? Things that I've already talked about. Practice self-care and self-love. Spend time in nature. I've spoken all those things on how to become your true self. I think it's more about also just like not giving a shit what others say. And I don't want people to misconstrue that. I've talked about this before. That doesn't mean be some fucking asshole. It doesn't mean don't heal your traumas. And I think with healing those traumas comes, you have to understand where they come from. Why are you a wounded masculine? Why are you a wounded feminine? What kind of relationships have you been in your life? What has happened in your childhood? And how do I overcome those things? How do I heal those things? That's where like the imbalance comes from. That also just like I said, I didn't understand how much like the energies aligned with what my brand is. But realistically, what the healing your feminine and masculine energies and becoming your authentic self ultimately pertain to is healing past traumas. Finding out who you really are, not going based off what people tell you are, not going based on what society tells you are or who to be, and figuring out why you've been the way you've been your whole life and showing how you truly feel and stop masking over those things. So figuring out traumas that make you act out in a certain way and healing those. And that's what this is all about. So that's it for today. I think, like I said, for me, I'm fucking transparent. I don't give a shit, you know. Maybe a little bit of a not as energetic episode, not as me deeply in my feelings about things, more about kind of like a school lesson. I feel like this was, but I think it was very informational and needed. Maybe some information I could have learned about more, but I know a lot about it. It's just like sometimes it's hard to speak it out. So that's why I went from the articles. I took some notes, spoke on those. But yeah, usually I'm more full on just what I think, in my opinion. But this, not always like my opinion. Like a lot of my opinion comes from facts and things I've learned. But it's more stuff that I've really gotten emotional about or feel some type of way about. So today I feel emotional about these things. I feel good about these things, but I wanted to take a more lesson approach based. And next week we'll speak on stoicism, because that's like a big thing that's like supposed to hit the internet this year. It's like stoic. I really like psychology and philosophy. Obviously, being stoic is philosophy. Plato. I could talk more on philosophies and things that line up with that, because that shit's really interesting. So next week we'll focus more on like philosophies and what these philosophers and traits of these people, like those philosophies, entail. And I really like stoicism. I feel like I'm more, like I said, I lean in my feminine a lot more, but I feel like being stoic, and I feel like I am stoic, is that's very masculine. So it's a good build off of this episode, is like the traits of stoicism. They lean more into a masculine side. So I'll probably build into that a little bit too, and I'll break down the good and the bad of it. I'll give you the traits, but I'm going to tell you this now. I'll talk more on feminine energy and how some of the things in the stoic side like completely rule out like feminine energy. So yeah, that's this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back. I'll probably record again next week. This episode I'm trying to have out on Monday the 26th. It'll be Monday the 26th. This episode's gonna air. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, thank you to my sponsors, and thank you to Quincy for allowing me to use his music. Juicy Visuals, thank you for doing my intro. And we'll be back, guys. Don't forget to get your hoodies. Hopefully this episode's not too bad. Realistically, I'll watch over. I'm always editing them, obviously, myself. I watch over and listen. I feel like, no lie, this is, to me, like I said, I'm transparent. I feel like this seems like a shitty episode. Because it may seem like I just didn't have it planned, but like dead ass, like that's how my episodes are. They're like planned for a day. I have a topic and I usually go off the top of my head more. And I think I like that more than what I did today, but it's okay. And I'm going to post it anyways, because what the fuck else? That's me. That's being my authentic self is that. So, we'll post this and then we'll move on to another episode, and hopefully soon, I believe I will be having another guest. I have a list of guests that I have asked, but it's been kind of weeks, like months, since I asked them to be on. They all agreed, but I haven't gotten in touch with a lot of them because this season's been moving kind of slow. But I'm going to reach back out, and hopefully we have a guest on soon to change up the flow of things. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.
A free falling like I'm skydiving, teacher and student, two worlds colliding. I love music, I don't abuse it. Take your crafts and you infuse them. Say you're normal, that's kinda weird. In deep thought, stroking my beard. Head of the table, saying my cheers. Ended up grateful for all the tears. Ready to grind for years. Been loving what's in the mirror. Ready to